Let me check my phone first. If we're recording, or we're live. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. All right. Test mic 1, 2, 3.
Alright, test mic 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Test.
So basically, I need to get this mic close to my mouth to make it work. So, because this is a cheapo microphone, it's like $2 mic. It's a lapel mic, and the important thing about this is the noise canceling, because my room is very noisy and I live beside the road. Okay, you can put this on my glasses. Let me see. Mm, that sound good? Let me check. It's right on my glasses right now, and I'm wondering if it sounds okay. So I think the mic's condenser needs to be.
Sir, needs to be. Sir,
I think that's good enough.
I think that's good enough.
Okay. All right. So we'll be working below, right here, the lower section here. Lower section there. That's where I'm gonna be working right now here. So basically, what I'm going to do is just mark the lines right now before shading it. Maybe tomorrow we can do some shading. And let me put distance myself on the canvas. When doing something like this, you need to be patient. I mean, it's kind of, you know, meditative process, because it kind of requires you to slow down. You know, painting tutorials right now, currently in the media and YouTube, kind of emphasizes this speed, quickness. You have to do it. You can finish it by 2 hours and stuff like that. And it kind of follows the trend of the world. For me, it's too rushed, and it's kind of lacks the the beauty that I think painting should have. It should be a place or a situation you find yourself in. It allows you to just relax and just slow down and focus. Just have this like romantic relationship with your painting or your drawing. kind of enjoying every stroke, every shade, every. It doesn't have to be fast. You don't have to follow the speed of the world. You know, in this situation, it's like your place to relax, to just slow down, you know, and take your time, you know. And when it comes to copying paintings like this, and for me, I can't afford to not copy every detail as much as I can, because for me, it's a disrespect to the original author, and it's a disrespect to me myself, because what I love about the painting is everything about it, right? But to be able to honor something, for me, you kind of have to match up the energy that the original author or painter artist put, spent into the piece, and if I just do it like, it's like creating a parody, right? It's kind of, for me, I don't like to do that. So other people might be comfortable doing that. Just for me, it's a waste of time. I mean, why do it if you know just do something else that matches your style and the level of detail that you want, right? So if you want to copy something, at least we may not be able to completely perfectly copy it, you know, and of course own our own energy is going to go into the work, of course, but at least you tried, right? At least you give it the amount of energy, the amount of passion. It's not going to be the same. The passion, the goal, the inspiration is not going to be the same with us and the original author. We don't know why they made it this way, why Leonardo did it like this. We don't really know the situation, the conditions, his motives. We don't really know that, but at least for me, it's important to at least match that. Now, if I want to do a boogaloo, I'm going to try to copy the boogaloo as much as I can. If I just do it like I just do it like a modernist approach, it's kind of like a parody, right? You're like saying something. I don't know. But for me, the important thing is to, if you want to honor really the project or the painting, and if you want to copy, create a reproduction of it, I think the best way is to put the effort into it, the same amount, at least as much as we can. The same intention to do the same thing. For me, it's like a religious experience. It's more like a spiritual experience, right? It's like you're connecting to the past. You're connecting to the actual moments that these strokes were made. So you're kind of in this deep relationship with this the time and space and the consciousness that have been separated hundreds of years. You kind of like melding these two together. You kind of like reaching to the past and trying to connect, trying to become one with that thing. Okay. Let me try this. Let me add another microphone. Maybe it's going to enhance the sound. right? I don't know if you agree or not, but that's just me. That's my thinking when it comes to this stuff. So they ask, why copy it? Why not just print it on a canvas and stuff like that? Well, of course I can do that. Anyone can do that. You can print anything right now. In our modern age, you can print anything, but for us humans, at least for me, I'm not going to generalize anything. I mean, every person has their own thoughts. For me, you know, when someone gifts you, it could be uh, a simple thing, right? It could be like, let's say, a food. Okay, someone gives you a food. If the person just buys this food from fast food and gives it to you, you kind of feel the thought, right? But if you compare that to if he cooked the meal itself, it might not taste that good, but you know, you have this connection that he tried. He was not, just cooking it for the sake of just making it like just showing you that he personally made it. He really tried and he really put his best effort into it. He bought the ingredients and spent the time learning. I think that feels so much better. To receive the gift that has been that you put your soul into. I think feels so much better. So I think for me it's the same way. Even if I can print this thing and just be done with it, what's the point? I mean, sure, I can give that to someone, okay? So I'll give it to you. You're gonna think, oh, it's a printed copy of this gun. Just put it on the side there, right? But if you know that the person has been working on it day and night, he put his effort into it and he's somehow changed by it. He built he something changed in him. There's it's like an experience, like it's a portion of his life, energy, money, time. You know, it's like a portion of someone's life that you can visibly see. It's like something a life has been spent, and now you can see where that was spent. Then it's given to you. So I think that's so much more valuable than just printing the damn thing, right? For me, that's how I think. And again, if you speed this, if you rush this, unless you have such a very talent, you have a good eye, coordination, memory. Sure, you can just copy quickly at your own pace, of course. But for regular people, we can't. If we rush, we're gonna make mistakes. Like gonna not be able to honor the thing that we want to do, want to copy. So it kind of provides this situation for us. Drawing details, copying it to the last detail as much as we can. Kind of provides us this opportunity to slow down. You know, I have a copy here, and I used to do this. If I'm not live, I'm just gonna have this painting here and just stare at it. And if I find a correlation between two lines from here, example, in the reference, I'll write that one line. That's it. And I'm gonna sit down and then just look at it again. Just stare, just relax. You know. So it's like I don't know. It's for me. It's a chance to slow down in life and just take it one stroke at a time. This is actually required if you want to do something like this, something as detailed as this. So if you want to do something like this, I think that mindset might help you. Rushing never helps anything, right? In anything. So right now we're going to look for opportunities here to mark, so we can, slowly build up the image and know where we're going. Just take it slow. It becomes easier the more lines you have, the more things you can compare, like the distance and spaces. It's gonna get easier. But at first, of course, you're gonna have to consider those lines as like placeholder lines, stuff like that. That's the beauty of doing detail. It takes time, but that's the point for me. You have to build this relationship with the painting and to connect to the past, connect to the master, connect to the life that you're seeing in front of you. This object that has been, you know, created by spending life. You're spending life to create something, and you honor it by exchanging the same energy, putting the same effort down. Some people say, just do it in your style, ha ha ha, lol. But that's too, disconnected for me. It's too, you know, I'm not gonna say any names. I'm not gonna, you know, judge. But for me, that's not enough. It's a little bit disrespectful. Just do your own thing then. Right? Don't copy. Don't create a reproduction. Of course, most people are not that spiritual or not that into their inner self, their inner person, and they're not too concerned about the intimacy that we gain, that we experience. So, of course, that's their own way. You have to take it slowly. Right? I'm looking at the reference. I'm looking at this point here, and the curves. and to consider this line here. It's meant to exist here or not. I think it does. Gonna put this down here. So I hope that's not too heavy for you. That's just how I think, It's kind of deep sometimes, most of the time. There's nothing wrong with that. Being passionate with something, have your own standard. Following the world is kind of crazy. I mean, there's too much voices out there, and you never know what's good for you, what's bad for you. You have to be careful. Have to, you know yourself. You have to slowly open up yourself. Some suggestion occurs, or some uh, you're like being tempted or being prodded to be someone, be like this or do this. Like for example, you have an emotion, then you see that the trend showing you that if you're having difficulty like this, if you have depression, and you have to do this, you have to whore yourself out there, you have to drink and destroy your body. You have to be careful because in the end, it's going to be you and your body. So be careful. You have to think. You have to. Feelings can lead us in places where we don't want to. Does it align with your, does this align with your principles, with your purpose? If you don't have purpose, does it align? Will this allow you to follow your purpose when it comes? No, in life, if you don't have a chance right now, it's gonna come. There's always this time where things match and the things that are for you come, arrive, appear in your eyes. At the right circumstance, the right thing to call you. Like, okay, I'm here now. Where are you? Just take it slow. Wanna try something? Then think about it. Think about it. And I understand that being in a turbulent situation, it kind of dumbs you down. You know, example, you're under immense stress, emotional, emotional pain, distress. It's kind of hard to think. It's like your brain's kind of, that's low level. operates at a very low state. Okay, let me consider this. Mm, it's better here. Here it is. You know what I learned by copying exactly as much as I can? There are lines that you don't understand why, how it was created, why is it there? So example of this, I'm drawing this right now, this little square. Why is it there? But then later on, I can see that this is connected there. You know, there's actually strands here that goes here there. So it's kind of amazing to discover stuff like that, to experience that. You know, the amazement that you get. You know, oh, so I understand it now. So this is where it comes from. This is why it's been made. This is how it was made. The stroke. This is how he made the stroke like that. It's amazing to connect someone, 100 years ago, 200 or 500 years ago. To think that he was in this, I don't know what time he was painting this. Did he draw it first? How much drawing did he do? How much of these lines are accidental? It kinda it's a deep well of experience. You kinda again that's just me. My aim is to preserve and to offer an opportunity to experience a way, a time you can spend your day, a way to spend your time and your day through drawing that will actually give you something that social media is not giving right now. And it's not vicarious. You can't do it vicariously. You have to be in that state. Just whatever, right? You can have a video running on the side, a podcast. It's just going to be like an ambient noise. Because once but it helps to have none of those because it requires a lot of focus. That is for me. It requires a lot of focus to be able to, catch lines that are there and to know the flow. I could just draw stuff like this, right? But it's better if I know why they're there because this is here, right? So it's better for me to know the flow of these strands than to just copy every nuance that I see. Like every dot is going to be crazy. You're still kind of figuring out the structure. It's like solving a puzzle and rebuilding the puzzle. But it doesn't have to be like that. You can always, do it the way you want, the way you want to experience. I'm just sharing how I experience my mindset, my state of mind, and state of being. I'm trying to do this. I enjoy it in that way. It's like eating. Like some people just eat to get full, and some people actually eat even though they're hungry to enjoy every bite. Right? So it's kind of have that sense to it. So here I'm seeing an anomaly. Kind of have to follow that. Oh, by the way, materially speaking, you don't want your grid to be too deep into the canvas, to your gesso, because it's gonna make holes and it's hard to erase. Now, for religious books in the past, when they copy something, they have to kind of do something like this. You have to be in a place where you can copy words exactly. And those books, even today, not just not not for their content, of course. I'm not speaking about their content. This is very controversial. I'm speaking about the material and the way the ritual, the being there. I'm sure each one of those scribes think consider their work differently. Some maybe just want to do it because been born a scribe. And gotta put food on the table, so let's do this quickly and let's move on to the next project. But it wasn't like that before. I think they were supported daily to be in that meditative state, to actually slow down and make sure that everywhere, like every mark, is on the same spot as the original. Spacing, you can't just use your own handwriting. This is a holy book. You, know, you have to respect it. It's kinda the same for me when it comes to reproduction. It kind of feels like that to me. In order to actually show my respect, I have to spend the time and the energy, and to it's not a have to. It's kind of it's like It's like relationships, right? If you just do it in a certain way, just consider it like it's something to pass your time, to go through it like quickly without heart. It's not gonna work. You're gonna get what you want, what you are looking for. So there's a way of doing things that you can figure out on yourself, your own. That you know the tediousness of this will overwhelm almost anyone, right? How many lines? How many lines is that? I mean, shading. How can you build something like that? Why? Why do you spend your time doing that? Well, because I choose to. And why? Why do you enjoy it? Why do you? Why, how are you able to do that? How are you able to sustain yourself through that? I mean, that's not a question. It's a mind. It's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of approach. Like if you follow the approach of the world of the production, make this, sell that, become popular today. If you follow this pattern, everything is going to be hard. Your relationships is not going to be satisfying. Building relationships, it kind of takes its own process. You can't rush it. You can't make it slower. It has its own speed. And the way you appreciate every day, every moment that you spend with that person, the way you think, you know, because we're humans. It's all about how we, condition ourselves into something. Example, when we see arguments, sometimes the world is telling us that arguments are bad and it's a disrespect to you. It's if you think that way, then every argument is going to be painful. It's going to hurt you, right? But if you think about arguments as two people trying to resolve their differences and finding a middle ground, it's like coming to understanding each other, right? We're coming to a point where we see the other in his or her shoe. If we think like that, then we're actually, it's all about the mind because we're humans. We are creating, we're creators. We create reality, and everything we do is about perception, right? If you think that this work, doing example, you're doing something, right? You're working in a grind. So if you think that this is just some pointless thing that you have to do every day, it's going to burn you out, right? And the way you're doing it is going to change. The way you expend your energy, right? It's like going to school, right? And when you have a crush in school seems to be, it's nice to go to school. But if you have bullies in school, no, it's not the experience, right? It's the mind. And you think of bullies as these people who abuse you and stuff like that, unless of course it's physical or it's too much for you, and there's something you have to do about. You know, that's a different subject now. But still, it's about perception. It's about what we know. You know, there are beliefs, there are perceptions that are true. There are things about how we see the world that should not be messed with. Of course, this goes from individual and some cultural level because there are things that we don't understand. For some, some people are the way they are because they're protecting themselves. The way they react, they kind of they're trying to reach out to you. For example, they're trying to make a relationship with you, trying to build a good relationship with you. But the way they're doing it is kind of it's different. You know, sometimes you can't understand it, and if you judge them immediately without asking, it's better to ask, why did you do this? Why are you doing this? I'm showing you this. Did you get what I'm trying to tell you? How did you perceive it? How did you perceive my gift? How did you perceive my actions? What does it mean to you? How did it make you feel? And they say, well, this is how it made me feel. Kind of made me feel insecure and scared because I really don't want to lose you, or I really don't want to be alone. You're kind of the person that I like. I want to. I want to miss you in my life. I don't want to lose a chance. And that's really what matters sometimes. It's the intentions, the what you really want. Sometimes we do things like crazy stuff. So it's the same with this, with anything. Yeah, drawing, painting, the same. When you do something, ask yourself, why? Why am I doing it this way? Especially when you're feeling like resistance from within yourself, like you don't want to do it anymore. You're kind of procrastinating. You don't enjoy it anymore. It's like it's like a job that doesn't pay. It's painting, but you're thinking like, I don't want to do it, but I have to do it, right? Because I'm supposed to be an artist, and well, that's gonna mess you up. It's gonna ruin your experience, right? It's not the way to go. It's wrong. It's crazy. And that's why we procrastinate sometimes because the original, when we started doing it, the project, we have an idea, like a vision, you know, we have expectations and stuff like that. We have this excitement because we're seeing something. There's an idea in our mind, and then we start doing it, right? Start doing, oh, I'm gonna paint this. For example, I wanna do my mom's portrait. Why? Why do it? Because I want to honor her. So I want to celebrate her. You're doing this portrait. And okay, so what are your expectations? How much, how open are you to the result? And what process are you gonna follow? What outcome do you want? And as you do it, start doing it, right? Sometimes you don't really think about these things, you just do it because you're excited. Oh, I want to make this. And you have this idea, oh, I'm gonna do it like that, just like the portrait that I saw on YouTube, it's gonna look like that. After I've done this, it's gonna look like that. Then my mom's gonna be so happy, and my followers are gonna go crazy. They're gonna go, oh my god, it's so good. So there's all this stuff that we put. So we get so hyped, right? Hype, start doing it, then slowly gonna see that our actions are not measuring up. We'll acknowledge, we see that the reference is not really the same, at the same, uh, you know, as the one we saw on YouTube, right? So this reference that we saw on YouTube was like very nice reference. It has a 3/4 shadow, has a Rembrandt shadow, Rembrandt lighting, and the new reference is like this flash photography. So you have to know sometimes you have to slow down. Just you know, point is our perception sometimes. Mind is so important. The human activity, the mind is so important. That's why religions really work, right? Religions make you think of a certain thing a certain way. Example, sex. Some cults think that sex is dirty. That you know, experiencing this bond with someone is not really an experience of bonding, but to them this is like an act. Like a wicked act. It's like you're doing something that is so wrong that you're defiling yourself when you do it. Then of course when you do it, that's how you're gonna feel. You're gonna feel defiled and dirty. It's all in your mind. It's the way you think about something. Watching. There are some religions here in our country that says that watching movies, okay, movies are like from the devil, and if you watch movies, you're gonna go to hell. It's like a sin, you know. And of course, if you watch a movie in that consciousness, then you're not going to experience the movie the way it was meant to be experienced. It's supposed to be fun, supposed to be, just wasting your time, just watching this story, this fantastic story. It's not really there, and hopefully you can learn some ideas or some question your reality a little bit. Just grow a little bit by watching this stupid movie that it's not really happening. Like this Star Wars series right now. Some people just you can watch the anti Star Wars fans random. Like everything Star Wars is like wow shit. Everything is like it's like a curse. It's like they're ruining the world. They're ruining Star Wars. and it's ridiculous. It's gonna become this funny thing. I mean, what do you want, right? So it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same. Everything is about conscious conscience. You know, you want to refer to the Bible, then it's all about conscience. Eating meat, not eating meat, right? Everything turns to shit once you eat it. That's what Paul was saying, right? Everything is gonna become waste. Whatever you put in your stomach, it's gonna come out the other way the same. But the conscience is what makes it either destructive or constructive. It's all about that. Now, of course, eating poison is not gonna. Conscience is not gonna help you if you eat poison, right? Like if you murder somebody, that's something else. It's not about conscience anymore. That's why he said, you know, anything that's gonna not gonna lead to death, you just pray about it. Think, consider, ask, ask the universe, ask our Father, what she say about this. Should you do this? Should you not do this? According to your conviction, whatever you can, your maturity matters. Everything is all about the mind. And your experience about painting and drawing is all about your mind. It's about how we see things. Right? Like, who the hell would enjoy doing something like this? For 20 minutes, you make one box, and for an hour, maybe you can make four boxes. Why? Some people would say it's stupid, that's insanity, you're wasting your time. But for me, it's not. I'm putting myself in a situation where I can slow down and experience this beauty that I'm looking at, and put the same strokes, copy it, connect, connect with Da Vinci or whoever painted this. Connect in those times, you know. See his brush strokes, his pencil strokes, whatever, the marks. Want to see the marks, you know. Want to slow down. I want to stop caring about speed, about doing things in 30 minutes, copying a picture from Pinterest in like 5 minutes, doing it freehand, doing it with one eye, doing it sitting upside down, standing upside down, no grid, no pencil. It's crazy, right? So choose your influence, choose the forces that are pulling and pushing you. You know, there's so much influence right now, so much. Sometimes it's best to just sit down and let go of everything. Have a Sabbath. Just stop. Just stop it. You know, put it down. Let it go. Just forget it. Forget about it for a day. Just one day. Forget it. It's done. Like, consider it. It's done. You don't have to do it. You don't have to think about it. It doesn't matter. put it down. That's it. Then you realize what you really see. You realize your mind, how you're being manipulated, how you're being pushed to this condition where you're not satisfied. You realize it. You figure it out. Like, okay, so I really want to copy the Lucan uh, self portrait. I really want to copy it like 100%. But why do I feel so, why do I think this is so heavy? It's just one mark at a time. It's just, it's all of this. It's just one square. Every square is just a set of marks. That's all there is. It's just a group of marks connected to each other, form into a picture. Right? It's amazing. It's amazing. All of this stuff that I'm talking about, it's like, it's not negative. What I'm trying to say is this is how our mind, it's kind of fascinating, right? Think that this is how we humans experience life. It's all about the mind. You look at other cultures, you understand this. How they think of a certain thing, it's the same thing. It's the same human thing that we do. How they go about it, what they think when doing it. Now, if you were aliens and we're looking at it, it's like, what's the difference? It's the same thing, you know. So this couple here, so they live together, right? They're in the same house and they eat the same food every day. They do this and do that. And this other couple here, pair, is doing the same thing. But before they did that, they did this. This other pair didn't. Then somehow culture, religion, all of this puts meaning into these things. Our own conscience. Sometimes it's not ours. Some pleasures to us, it's not a pleasure to somebody else. You might say it's weird. They're broken. You don't understand. Something happened to these people that made them see a certain way. Might be harmful. That's why we discourage it. Right? Doesn't work. For example, it's too doesn't work for everybody. It's too weird and it's not fair. Like that. It's not conducive. Everything about the mind, everything. Relationship, painting, watching a video. So the next time you start losing your passion for your painting, kinda become bored, just rest. Let it go, rest. Stop it. Put it down and stop doing it. Okay, you don't wanna harm it further. You don't wanna damage it further because this is your love. You started it. You did it at first. You loved it. You had high hopes for it. You had this imagination. You had this experience, like you were inspired to do it, right? You had this something clicked in your brain, connected to your heart, and it connected to your whole body, to your soul, and it made you act, made you do it. This is precious. It's like falling in love, right? Something just clicks. From your experience, your state of mind. Sometimes you don't even see it coming, it just happens. You swear, I swear I don't want to do it anymore. I'm just going to stay in my room. And suddenly, something happens. And it's so absurd. If you look at it, it's so impossible. It's so absurd. It looks like it's like an impossible thing. There's no reason for it. It just happened. It's like that. So it's precious. This is precious. You started something, you painted something, started drawing something, started want to learn, wanted to try it. Something clicked in you. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be. Sometimes it's just curiosity. You just want to try drawing it, and that's it. You're done, right? Doesn't have to be grand. And after you're doing it, you're not satisfied anymore. Then just let it go. Don't struggle. Don't fight it. Let it go. Your mental health so much more important than your project. Okay, that's the point. That's why we're trying to enjoy life, right? Trying to experience things because we want, either to cure something in our mind. We're not trying to heal something. By experiencing something, we're trying to heal something, right? We're trying to build this experience inside of us. These are subconscious things. Trying to fill a hole, right? So you try to experience it. And then when it's full, and then it's fine, just move on. I'm sure you'll find something else to do, something else to be passionate about. I mean, why waste your time trying to finish that painting that is already hurting you, unless that's what you want to experience, right? You want to see how far you can push this darkness, how far you can struggle with this thing that you don't like doing. Maybe that's the growth that you want. Because I did myself, I experienced that. I like to, in the past, I used to like hard things, bit hard things. It's like there's something in me that's attracted to the difficult things. When I make my single player campaigns, my games, when I'm making those scenarios and puzzle, it's super hard. So people don't like it because it's super hard. To me, something about making something hard, difficult, and I went through this uh, also this art test. Shout out to the art test classmates. So I went through this art test, by a popular teacher, and it really pushed me because I had to finish that quick, and I didn't have the knowledge then to finish it. But I went into that, just blindly. I just wanted to be there. I want to accomplish something. I want to be competitive. I wanted to. Because somebody told me, just go, try this. I think it was a mistake in one way, but I kind of salvaged that experience and you know grew from it. I think it was a trap. So I'm sure his intentions were pure, but kind of derailed me. But I was able to salvage uh, lessons from that experience, and I was able to build something inside me through that experience. So that's also one thing. When facing, when you sometimes you are led into situations where we really don't like to be in, and we wish, you know, we wish we were not there in the first place. Like from that example, I was like, he encouraged me to do it, but I'm sure he didn't know what was in it. So I went, and it derailed me from my project, and it kind of burned me out. It took me like 6 months to recover. It's really tough. But I realized that something inside me, I didn't have to think this. Just looking back myself, I was able to salvage that experience, and you know gave me more resilience to do hard stuff, to actually experience the hard stuff. And now I know how to regulate myself. If it's becoming too much, then I know when to stop. Because it's like what happened was actually like, you know someone, let's say you got hired for a job, right? And you thought it was going to be easy. Then when you went, then it's like a work from abroad, for example. Then when you got there, it's like this grueling condition. So you had to survive that because you signed the contract, and you're far from home. So at least you have to finish this 6 month work, for example. So 6 months grueling schedule. Let's just do this, just then just finish it, be done with it. So next time when somebody offers you a job, you have to be careful, right? And when you're doing your own work, you're gonna realize how far you can go, and of course you have the power to push further now because of that experience. But you don't really want to do that every time, right? Because given granted from the experience, it was not healthy. So you kinda I kinda salvage it in that way. So, just in your case, you find something unpleasurable, you don't really want to push like that. You don't want to do life extra hard, then just be that way. But if something inside you is calling you to just, let's try to push, and you can't really resign to the idea. If you give it up, you gonna become sad. Then you have no choice. You have to please step up, but just be careful. Just be careful. Of course, it's only you. It's your own personal contract with yourself, and you can always break the contract, right? And call it quits. Like it's done. We've tried this, and we've learned our lesson. What we need to learn. So let's be done with that. Because sometimes there are things we subconsciously. I don't know if you believe this, but sometimes there is a knowing inside of us. We kind of know that something's going to happen to us in the future, and to change that, we kind of put ourselves in a situation that prepares us. Like it's like something somehow our brains kind of see where this is going, right? We kind of have this impression that, oh my God, it's going to lead to this, right? This thing is going to lead to this, so I have to prepare. So kind of put ourselves in this situation where we can experience the necessary experience to prepare us for a certain thing, or it kind of lets us experience something so that the bigger one, the bigger thing that we're supposed to, like if we didn't have this minor inconvenience, example, this minor struggle, we won't be able to avoid that bigger problem. And then sometimes we experience this, like we have this contract with ourselves, that we experience this, we go into this situation, like we're being pulled into it, just by yourself, because something good is coming and you needed something inside of you to be able to support this good thing that's coming. Example, you're going to meet someone, your forever person, for example, right? But you're not prepared because you're in this state of depression, and you can't let go of your past. Like you're so wounded that if that forever person comes now, you haven't healed. No, you're gonna ruin the forever person. So it's not going to be a forever person, right? That's how destiny works, right? So you're kind of called into this. You find this guy, you're this woman. You kind of teach yourself to, just to understand the past, for example, to find peace in yourself. It depends for each person. Kind of grow up a little bit. It's not like you're childish or something, but meaning you're adding new things into your consciousness, right? So you become ripe, ready. So when this person comes, you're going to be in a situation. You're going to, of course, you're going to have needs. You're going to have lacking. We don't come equipped and full in every party, right? When we join something, we're not always complete. because that's also one way for relationships to work is to be incomplete. Because if you're complete, then you don't need the relationship. What are you going to be? What's the point of the relationship if you're already filled? You need nothing, right? Are you going to be a god in that relationship? Like you're going to give and then so much until you're going to become exhausted and then just leave because your heavenly duty is complete. Maybe, maybe that's the contract that you signed with yourself. Maybe you want to experience being a god and learn that being a god is not good. So then you meet a person, this gentle, kind person, and then you're a little bit wounded. You're open.
Okay. Speaking of,
My throat is dry. I think I've done enough. I think I've spoken. I think I was in the zone there. Uh, I've said enough. Anyway, let's call this a day, and hopefully I'll see you guys again next time. Thanks for dropping by. I hope you say hi next time. That's it. Just for me right now. I hope you have a wonderful day. And again, final word. Just don't take it too tragically. Sometimes it only takes the realization that everything we do, and everything we are, is about consciousness. Because that's what we are. So just be conscious when doing something, so you don't, you know what's happening, right? So that I think that's the point of this entire video. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, and thanks for dropping by, even if it's only a few seconds. I appreciate it. All right, so let's get a good shot just uh, for the camera, for the video. So basically, we're almost there. All we need is this section here. I think this is going to take a week, maybe. And this other section here is going to take another week. So that's the detail that I've been able to place right now. That's not final, of course. I'll show you next time how I make that into a solid line because it's like shading right now, right? So they're just easy to erase marks. Show you next time how we make that into something permanent. So that's the Lucan Leonardo. We're almost done. This is just the first step. Okay, we are going to paint this and bring it to completion. So this is this state of the Lucan Leonardo is the original one prior to the restoration. So when I'm looking at the restoration right now, I think they painted over a lot of this uh, stuff here. The not so smooth things. They kind of painted over it and made it smooth. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep the original one before they before they before they restored it. Okay, so that's what I want to have in my gallery, in my own personal collection, is a painting of the Lucan Leonardo before before it was restored. Okay, so again, have a nice day and see you next time. Matane.